Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Jaya Gaura Bhakta Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Jaya Gaura Bhakta Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai Samaveta Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna dear devotees, welcome to Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita reading. We are reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela, chapter 17, the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his youth. So we have been reading that when Mahaprabhu was performing all-night kirtans in Srivas Thakur's home, those who were not the close associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they were not allowed inside. The doors were locked. So those who were offenders, those who were blasphemers, they got offended. Some of them, the pious people, felt unfortunate. So I think we finished this, didn't we? We were reading about Chand Kazi.
We were reading the song now.
I think Mataji, that was in Chaitanya Bhagavat.
Oh my God, yeah. I got confused.
Anyway, yes. So this is Chaitanya Charitamrita. So on Saturdays we read Chaitanya Bhagavat. So that's why the confusion. Both are actually kind of coinciding now. Okay, but will this Gopal Chapal's, keeping paraphernalia of worship of goddess Durga in front of Srivas Thakur's house. This is mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita. That's what we read. So we read. So the chief of all these offenders, Gopal Chapal, in order to, so they would attack Srivas Thakur because they were not allowed to enter into the kirtan. They would try to create trouble for Srivas Thakur. This Gopal Chapal kept all these paraphernalia for worshipping Durga Devi outside his door, like that. So this was an offense to Srivas Thakur. Of course, the people didn't believe. They immediately got the whole place cleaned up and all that. But the person who did it, he had to suffer the reaction. What happened to him? Within 3 days, his entire body was covered with leprosy. There was pus oozing from his body all over, and it was very, very painful. And because he had this leprosy, he couldn't stay in the society. He was now living on the shore of Ganga. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would go to take bath in the Ganga. So one day when Mahaprabhu was passing by, this Gopal Chapal, he told Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said, "Oh Nimai, in village relationship, I am like your maternal uncle, you are my nephew. See how I am suffering. And you are the Supreme Lord. You have come to deliver all the fallen souls. I am also in a very fallen condition. You deliver me also." So there Srila Prabhupada said that although he was an offender, he offended Srivas Thakur, he was envious, But at the same time, he had this simple heart because of which he accepted Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as an incarnation, as the Supreme Lord who has descended to deliver. And of course, his motive was he's suffering and he wanted relief from that. And wherever you can get that, you right? Marta kya nahi karta, they say in Hindi. Like if you are desperate for something, you will do whatever it takes to get what you want. Or if you are suffering, you'll do whatever it takes to become free from that suffering. So he is in great agony. So he approached Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he said, please relieve me from this pain. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very angry. He said, for 1,000,000 lifetimes, you're going to suffer. I'm not going to deliver you. Why? Because you have offended a pure devotee, Srivas Thakur. What was the offense? You tried to show people that he is a worshipper of goddess Durga. Like that. So that's what we were reading. I will read the translations one more time. So you will, yeah. 47. Since leprosy is an infectious disease, Gopal Chapa left the village to sit down on the bank of the Ganges underneath a tree. One day, however, he saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu passing by and spoke to him as follows. My dear nephew, I am your maternal uncle in our village relationship. Please see how greatly this attack of leprosy has afflicted me. As an incarnation of God, you are delivering so many fallen souls. I am also a greatly unhappy fallen soul. Kindly deliver me by your mercy. Hearing this, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared greatly angry, and in that angry mood he spoke some words chastising him. O sinful person, envious of pure devotees, I shall not deliver you. Rather, I shall have you bitten by these germs for many millions of years. Not 1,000,000, for many millions of years. You have made Srivas Thakur appear to have been worshipping the goddess Bhavani. Simply for this offense, you will have to fall down into hellish life for not 1,000,000, 10,000,000 births. That means you'll be suffering in hell for 10,000,000 lifetimes, and these leprosy germs will be biting you for millions of years. Now, we'll continue. पाषंडी संहारी ते मोरा ए अवतार पाषंडी संहारी भक्ति करिमु प्रचार. So Achintadev Prabhu,
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to the assembled devotees.
please accept my humble obeisances. Prabhuji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
I have appeared in this incarnation to kill the demons, Pasandis, and after killing them, to preach the cult of devotional service. Thank you, Mataji.
Yes, thank you. So, yes, I have come to deliver, but Krishna says, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam. Right? Those who are dushkritinas, I have come to destroy them also. I have come to deliver the pious, but also to destroy the miscreants. So Mahaprabhu is saying, I will make you suffer for millions of years. I have appeared in this incarnation to kill demons or pashandis. Pashandis are atheists, offenders, blasphemers. They're all demons, pashandis. And after killing them, to preach the cult of devotional service. Purport. Yeah, Arunita or Aditi Lata Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Lord Chaitanya's mission is the same as that of Lord Krishna, which he states in the Bhagavad Gita 4.7 to 8. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyuham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanataya sambhavani yuge yuge. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself. in order to deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion, I advent myself millennium after millennium. As explained here, the real purpose of an incarnation of God is to kill the atheist and maintain the devotees. He does not say, like so many rascal incarnations, that atheists and devotees are on the same platform. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Lord Sri Krishna, the real personality of Godhead, does not advocate such an idea. If,
Yeah.
should I read?
Yeah, go ahead.
Atheists are punishable, whereas devotees are to be protected. To maintain this principle is the mission of all avatars or incarnations. One must therefore identify an incarnation by his activities, not by popular votes or mental concoction. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave protection to devotees and killed many devotees of his preaching work. He specifically mentioned that the Mayavadi philosophers are the greatest demons. Therefore, he warned all others not to hear the Mayavada philosophy. Mayavadi bhashya sunile hoy sarvanash. Simply by hearing the Mayavada interpretation of the Shastras, one is doomed. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila 6.169.
Yes, Hare Krishna. So Krishna's, when the Lord appears, he has a twofold uh, mission. He protects the devotees and he annihilates the miscreants also. So who are the miscreants? Who are the miscreants? Here Srila Prabhupada is saying that atheists are punishable, whereas devotees are to be protected. To maintain this principle is the mission of all avatars. So those who are atheists means, again, 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, yesterday Dhanush was asking, there is divine and demoniac. The demoniac, the Lord comes to annihilate the demoniac and to protect the divine. So to maintain this principle, all the different avatars are coming. The mission of all the avatars is this principle, to protect the divine or the devotees and to annihilate the miscreants. So one must therefore identify an incarnation by his activities, not by popular votes. So sometimes any person who's popular, you'll say this is an incarnation of God. How do you identify an incarnation? He should be giving protection to those who are devotees, and he should also be punishing those who are not devotees. It's not that he's allowing everyone is fine. No. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave protection to devotees and killed many demons in the course of his preaching work. So of course Mahaprabhu did not, like the other incarnations, he didn't use weapons to kill them, but he completely smashed their philosophy. He defeated their philosophy, and finally those who came in contact with the Lord, they surrendered to him. So here we are specifically talking about the Mayavadi philosophers. Srila Prabhupada is pointing to the Mayavad, those who are following the Mayavadi philosophy, they are seen as miscreants. Srila Prabhupada is saying, he specifically mentioned that the Mayavadi philosophers are the greatest demons. Mayavadi philosophers. Mayavadi philosophers means what? Mayavada means they say that it's concocted philosophy, that the Lord, his body is material, like that. Or they say the Supreme, so when the Lord comes and he performs his pastimes, they consider that to be material. They believe in the Supreme, but they don't believe in the personality of Godhead. They consider him to be Maya. This is Mayavad philosophy. And anyone who is propounding this Mayavad philosophy, he's the greatest demon. And anyone who hears such a philosophy, he'll be doomed. Mayavadi bhashya sunile hoy sarvanash. So it's not that you're always good to everyone. No, you have to recognize, you have to identify who is a devotee and who is a demon. And the treatment is not the same. Although Krishna says samoham sarva bhuteshu name dveshosti na priyaha ye bhajanti tu mam bhaktya maite teshu chapyam. Anyone who is my devotee, he is my friend, Krishna says. But anyone who is against him, then he will be dealt with accordingly. Ye yathamam prapadyante tam stataiva bhajamiham. As one approaches me, I reward him accordingly, Krishna says. So, yes. Mahaprabhu is telling Gopal Chapal, first I will kill all the demons, miscreants, and then I will establish the Yuga Dharma. I will deliver all the devotees. Eta boli gela Prabhu korite Ganga snan, sei papi dukha bhoge na jaye paran. Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Oh, you didn't read? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
After saying this, the Lord left to take his bath in the Ganges, and that sinful man did not give up his life, but continued to suffer.
Yeah, you can read the purport.
It appears that an offender to the Vaishnava continues to suffer and does not give up his life. We have actually seen that a great Vaishnava Pradi continuously suffered so much that it was difficult for him to move, and yet he did not die.
Yes. Vaishnava Pradi. So Prabhupada is giving his personal experience. He encountered a great Vaishnava Aparadi, a great offender of Vaishnavas, and he saw how he suffered so much that it was difficult for him to even move. But still, while suffering so much, he couldn't die. That means he had to live and suffer that pain. This is the punishment of offending a Vaishnava. So the translation is saying, after saying this, what did Mahaprabhu say? I'm not going to deliver you. For 10 million births, you will be suffering in hell. After saying, and I have come here, first I will punish all these demons, and then I will deliver the devotees. Saying this, Mahaprabhu left. He walked away. The Lord left to take his bath in the Ganges. And that sinful man did not give up his life. He was suffering so much from leprosy, but he didn't die. That means he had to continue suffering. So, Vaishnava Aparadh is very grave. Sannyasa koriya jabe prabhu nila chale gela, tatha hoite jabe kuliya grame aila, tabe sei papi prabhura loila sharan, hita upadesha koilo hoya karuna. Okay. So, Prabhuji, Narsimha Leela Praladesha Prabhu. Narsimha Praladesha Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji, Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Translation. When Sri Chaitanya, after accepting the renounced order of life, went to Jagannath Puri and then came back to the village of Kulia. Upon his return, that sinful man took shelter at the Lord's lotus feet. The Lord, being merciful to him, gave him instructions for his benefit.
Yes,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. So this time, this Mahaprabhu is still Grihastha. He is in Navadvip when this incident happened. And this Gopal Chapal is suffering from leprosy. And then after this, Mahaprabhu took sannyas. He went to Jagannath Puri. And from there, when he came back to the village of Kulia, at that time, Gopal Chapal again. So all this time he was suffering from leprosy. And when you suffer, you also, because of that suffering, you become humble. So again, he took shelter of the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu. Now Mahaprabhu as a sannyasi, when he came to Kuliagram, he went and took shelter. And this time, the Lord became merciful to him and gave him some instructions for his benefit. What were they? So purport, Isha.
Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur, in his Anubhashya, has given the following note in connection with the village Kulia. The village originally known as Kulia has developed into what is now the city of Navadvip. In various authorized books, like the Bhakti Ratnakar, Chaitanya Charita Mahasagya, Caitanya Chandrodaya Nataka, and Caitanya Bhagavatam, it is mentioned that the village of Kulia is on the western side of the Ganges. Even now, within the area known as Koladweep, there is a place known as Kuliaraganja and a place called Kuliaradaha, both within the jurisdiction of the present municipality of Navadvip. In the time of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the two villages on the western side of the Ganges, named Hulia and
Pahadpur.
Bharatpur, both belong to the jurisdiction of Bharadweep. At that time, the place on the eastern side of the Ganges, now known as Antardweep, was known as Navadweep.
Hmm.
At that time, the place on the eastern side of the Ganges.
It's a repetition.
At that time, the place on the eastern side of the Ganges, now known as Antardweep, was known as Navadweep. At Sri Mayapur, that place is still known as Dweepara Mata. There's another place of the name Pulia near
Kachadapada.
Caritamrita, but it is not the same Kulia mentioned here. It cannot be accepted as Aparatha
Bhanjanera Pat.
Vinjanarapat, or the place where the offense was excused. For that occurred in the above mentioned Kulia on the western side of the Ganges. For business reasons, many envious persons oppose excavation of the real place, and sometimes they advertise unauthorized places as the authorized one.
Yes. So here we see that Mahaprabhu, this Gopal Chapal, met Mahaprabhu in Kuliagram. So today there is a place called Kulia near Kacharapada. But that Kulia is not what is being mentioned here. This Kulia is what is known as Navadvip today. So those of you who have been to Mayapur and to Navadvip, you will know you have to cross the river Ganges on a boat to go to Navadvip. So Mayapur is on the eastern side, and today, as of today, the city called Mayapur is on the eastern side of the Ganges and Navadvip is on the western side. Why that place is called Navadvip, that Srila Prabhupada explained towards the end of the purport. For business, actually, what is today Mayapur was at the time of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu known as Navadvip. Because Navadvip or Antardvip. Antardvip. So Navadvip means 9 islands. And these 9 islands are in the form of a lotus, 8 petals and central whorl. So there are 9 islands. The central island is called Antardvip. That is the place of birth of Mahaprabhu. That Antardvip is the birthplace of Mahaprabhu, which is today known as Mayapur. So the birthplace of Mahaprabhu is called Navadvip. But today, Navadvip is the city which is on the other side, on the western side of the Ganges. That is known as Navadvip. Why did this happen? So for business reasons. So when you say Navadvip, the first thing that comes to you is this is the birthplace of Mahaprabhu. So then you'll attract a lot of, pilgrims and businesses. So for business purpose, people advertised Kulia as Navadvip, and even, the name was registered as Navadvip. But at the time of Mahaprabhu, that city was known as Kulia. And it is in Kulia where this Gopal Chapal met Mahaprabhu when he came back from Jagannath Puri. And that Kulia Gram is known as Aparada Bhanjanera place, like the place where the offense was excused. Whose offense? Gopal Chapal's offense was excused. So that's the point. So further proofs are given that even to this day, there are these places like Kulyar Daha, right? So those places are within that area of Navadvip, like that. So this is, who said all this? Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said that in his Anubhashya. Next. श्रीवास पंडितेर स्थाने आचे अपराधा तथा जाहते हो यदि कोरे न प्रसादा तबे तो रहबे एई पाप विमोचना यदि पुनः ऐचे नहीं करो आचरण. Okay, Krishnashish.
You have committed an offense at the lotus feet of Shiva's Thakur. The Lord said, first you must go there and beg for his mercy, and then if he gives you his blessing, and you do not commit such things again, you will be freed from these reactions.
Yes. So you will see this time and again. If you commit an offense to a devotee and then you go and beg mercy from the Lord will not forgive you. We saw in the case of Durvasa Muni. You remember Ambarish Maharaj's episode, history. Durvasa Muni offended Ambarish Maharaj and he was chased by the Sudarshan Chakra. He went all the way up to Lord Vishnu to get relief from that Sudarshan Chakra. The Lord said, I cannot do anything. You have to go back and beg mercy from Ambarish Maharaj. If he forgives you, then you may be saved. Also, Jagai Madhai, they offended Nityananda Prabhu and they fell at the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying that please save us from this Sudarshan Chakra. Please save us, don't punish us, don't kill us. And Mahaprabhu said, no, you have offended Nityananda Prabhu. If he forgives you, then only you may be delivered. I have no power, I cannot. Like this, Gopal Chapal fell at the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu and Mahaprabhu said, you have to go, you offended Srivas Thakur, go and beg forgiveness from him. And it's not enough to just beg forgiveness from him. After you beg forgiveness, that person should forgive you. If the person does not forgive you, it's not that I have begged for forgiveness, now you're supposed to forgive me. Not like that. It's up to his free will. He may forgive you, he may not forgive you. And if he does not forgive you, you don't have any shelter. You'll have to just cry and wait until he gives his mercy. Like that. And after that devotee gives mercy, the next condition is you should never commit such sins again of blaspheming the Vaishnavas. Only then you will be freed from these reactions. So very strict when it comes to Vaishnava aparad. Tabe vipraloila asi Shrivasa Sharana Tahara Kripaya Hoilo Papa Vimochana. Madhava?
Then the Brahmana, Gopal Sapa, went to Shiva's Thakur and took shelter of his lotus feet. And by Shiva's Thakur's mercy, he was free from all sinful reactions.
So Vaishnavas are very merciful. Gopal Chapal went and begged mercy from Srivas Thakur, and immediately Srivas Thakur forgave him wholeheartedly. He didn't take any offense. So by that, Gopal Chapal was relieved from that leprosy. So he went and begged forgiveness from Srivas Thakur, took shelter of Srivas Thakur. By Srivas Thakur's mercy, he was freed from all sinful reactions. That offense was removed. Ara eka vipra ailo kirtana dekhite, dware kapata na pailo bhitare jaite. Rasapriya?
Another Brahmana came to see the Kirtan performance, but the door was closed and he could not enter the hall.
So we saw nobody could come, right? They couldn't enter. Unless they had the permission of the Supreme Lord, they could not enter. So we saw this was the episode of Gopal Chapal. There was another Brahmana who also wanted to see the Kirtan of Mahaprabhu, but the doors were closed. He was not able to enter. फिरी गेला विप्र घरे मने दुख पाया आर दिना प्रभु के कहे गंगाया लाग पाया. So next Kalpesh Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Prabhuji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
He returned home with an unhappy mind, but on the next day, he met Lord Chaitanya on the bank of
Ganges.
him.
Yes. So this is another Brahman who was not able to get entrance into the Kirtan. So Mahaprabhu goes to take bath in the Ganges every day. So he met Mahaprabhu near the bank of Ganges the next day. and he started speaking to Mahaprabhu. What did he say? Shapi ba tomare mui payachi mano dukha paita chindiya shape prachanda durmukha. Okay, so Dhanush and Sugita.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Yeah.
Okay, so
Translation.
that Brahmana was an expert in talking harshly and cursing others. Thus he broke his sacred thread and declared, I shall now curse you for your behavior that has greatly aggrieved me.
Yes. So this Brahmana, he directly cursed Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he was offended that he was not allowed into the kirtan. So the next day, he waited for Mahaprabhu to come near the Ganges, and there he, being a Brahman, right, he took his Brahman thread. By the power of my Brahmanical strength, I am cursing you. What is the curse? We'll read that, right? I shall now curse you, for your behavior has greatly aggrieved me. I'm very much offended that you didn't allow me into the kirtan. For this I'm going to curse you. What is that curse? Samsara sukha tomara hauka vinash shapa shuni prabhura chitte hoilo ullas. Yes, Sugita is going to read.
Hare Krishna Mataji. The Brahma cursed the Lord, you shall benefit of all
Bereft.
the material happiness.
Go ahead.
When the Lord heard this, he felt great jubilation within himself.
Yes. So what was the curse? The Brahmana cursed the Lord. You shall be bereft of all material happiness. I am cursing you that you will not have any material happiness in your life. So when the Lord heard this, he felt great jubilation within himself. He was not displeased that he was cursed. He actually felt very happy, because material enjoyment and spiritual life, they don't go well together. Even if somebody has material opulence, his intention is not to enjoy material happiness. He sees himself simply as a servant of the Lord, right? So a devotee is never aspiring or looking for material happiness. So when he was cursed that you will not have any material happiness, Mahaprabhu became very jubilant, very happy hearing that curse. Just like Narad Muni was cursed by Daksha, that you will not be able to stay in any place for more than 3 days. Narad Muni thought, oh, this is very good. So now I will not be attached to any one place. I will be constantly traveling and preaching the Lord's message like a sannyasi, like that. So Mahaprabhu also, when he heard the curse, you will never be able to enjoy material happiness, he became very happy. Prabhura shapa varta jai shune shraddhavan brahma shapa hoite tara hoya paritran. Okay, next, I think Nilambari Mataji. Yes.
Hare Krishna Mataji, pranam. Jai
Pranam
Shri
Mataji.
Prabhupada.
Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Any faithful person who hears of these Brahmanas cursing Lord Chaitanya is delivered from all Brahmanical curses.
So what did we hear just now? We heard the curse of this Brahmana. The curse, the Brahmana's curse for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is saying, any faithful person who hears of this Brahmana's cursing Lord Chaitanya is delivered from all Brahmanical curses. So if any of us ever in our past lives or this life, if we have ever been cursed by Brahmanas, then simply by hearing this pastime of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's being cursed by a Brahmana, we will be relieved from all those curses. We will be delivered from all those Brahmanical curses. This is the benediction. Purport. So next, Achyut Priya Mataji. You're able to read, Mataji? Achyut Priya Mataji?
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam Swantati. Jai Shri.
Jai Shri Prabhupada Mataji. Purport.
Any faithful person, One should know with firm conviction that the Lord, being transcendental, is never subject to any curse or benediction. Only ordinary living entities are subjected to curses and the punishment of Yamaraj. As the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is beyond such punishments and benedictions. When one understands this fact, with faith and love, he personally becomes free from all curses uttered by Brahmanas or anyone else. This incident is not mentioned in the Chaitanya Bhagavatam. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So after reading the purport, my attention went to this word in the translation. Faithful person. That's the key, isn't it? So Ananya Bhakta is one who has faith. Faithful person. So Shraddhavan. Okay. So any faithful person, anyone who has Shraddha, that means who is a devotee of the Lord, a pure devotee of the Lord. When he hears this Brahmanas cursing Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is delivered from all Brahmanical curses. And how is this said? The Lord is above all curses. He is transcendental. It's not that somebody curses Mahaprabhu or somebody curses Krishna and then he has to suffer that curse. He does not have to suffer anything. It's another thing that he may accept it out of his own sweet will for his mission. But he is above all curses, Brahmanical curses or any other curses. If the Lord is beyond all curses, then anyone who is a pure devotee of the Lord, pure devotee means 24/7 he surrendered to the Lord. Such a devotee also becomes free from all curses. That's the point. By hearing this, when he understands that the Lord cannot be cursed, he is convinced how the Lord can be cursed. Because of, by dint of his pure devotional service, he has that faith. Then such a devotee also becomes free from all Brahmanical curses. That's what Srila Prabhupada is saying. One should know with firm conviction that the Lord, being transcendental, is never subject to any curse or benediction. He doesn't need anything from anyone to fill himself. He's already full. What benediction can anyone give him? Benediction can be given to somebody who is in need of something to fill that gap. He's already full. What he can take from anyone? What can anyone give him? So, one who is fully convinced about this fact about the Lord, right? Such that the Lord is never subject to any benediction. Only ordinary living entities are subjected to curses and punishments of Yamaraj. As the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is beyond such punishments and benedictions. When one understands this fact with faith and love, he personally becomes free from all curses uttered by Brahmanas. This is similar to one shloka in Bhagavad Gita. Can anyone tell me which one it is? One who understands that the Lord is beyond all curses, he himself becomes free from curses. This is very similar to one shloka of Bhagavad Gita. Anyone? Okay, if you don't remember. Janma karma chame divyam evam yo vetti tattvataha tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti sorjana. One who understands means is completely convinced that the Lord's birth and his activities are always transcendental. When one is convinced about this, he himself also becomes transcendental. He doesn't have to take birth again. Similarly, one who understands that the Lord is beyond all curses and benedictions, such a devotee also transcends all curses. So with that, we'll come to the end of today's session. Thank you all. I'll see you tomorrow. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, Hare Krishna, Dandavatam. Mataji, I have a question from the morning.
1 second, Mataji. Kalpesh Prabhu raised his hand first. We'll
Okay,
take it.
sorry.
Yes, Prabhuji, go ahead.
Mataji, I have one question. If it is acceptable, then I can ask.
Go ahead, Prabhuji.
Actually, somebody asked me this question, and I gave some.
1 second, Prabhuji. Is this related to what we are discussing here, or is it something?
It is not.
It is not. So then please wait for 1 minute. I'll take questions related to this subject, then I'll come back to you. Achutpriya Mataji, what was your question?
Mataji, it was according to the morning class, Mataji.
Oh, yours also, okay, outside. Okay. So anyone who wants to leave the class can leave, okay? And then I'm just taking some questions that devotees have.
I have
You
a
can stay.
question,
You
Mataji.
also have a question. Okay, then just about this class,
Yeah,
go ahead.
like there's a way to free yourself from Brahmana curses is by having full faith, right? So, like, let's say you committed a sin or something, and Yamadev is gonna punish you for it, and you're scared that you're gonna get punished. Is there any way to free yourself from that?
Yes. Krishna says, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam raja. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayashyami ma shuchaha. So you are saying you committed a sin for which you're going to get punished.
Yeah,
So,
like I read in the Bhagavad Gita that like if you commit a sin, then Yama will punish you.
Yamaraj
Like
will
let's say,
punish you. Yes.
yeah. So like let's say somebody committed a sin and they're too scared and they don't want to get a punishment and they want to like get escape it or like do something that will please the Lord. Like how do you do it?
You should just surrender to Krishna because Krishna is also the master of Yamaraj. But surrendering to Krishna does not mean that I will go to Krishna. It's not like I will pay something to Krishna so that I'll be free from this and then I'll do whatever I like afterwards. That is not acceptable. Surrender means from today onwards, I will be a dedicated servant of Krishna. I will only do what Krishna expects of me to do. So how you know what Krishna expects of us to do? From Bhagavad Gita we
Read the
understand.
Bhagavad Gita.
Yes, chant Hare Krishna, like that. So I will only do what Krishna, from Bhagavad Gita you'll understand what Krishna wants us to do. So like this, you decide, you go and take shelter of Krishna, you surrender yourself to Krishna, and then you hear Bhagavad Gita and you understand further what is it that pleases Krishna, what does it mean to be a devotee of Krishna, what are the activities that a devotee does, like that. And you mold your life in such a way so that you're always a devotee of Krishna, right? You surrender to Krishna. Then Krishna is assuring, if you become my devotee, also Krishna says what it means to be a devotee. Manmana bhava mad bhakto. Always think of Krishna. You bow down before Krishna, go and offer obeisances to Krishna. You worship Krishna and you be a devotee of Krishna. This is what Krishna says. And if you are doing like this all the time, then you don't have to worry about Yamaraj or any other offenses or sins, because Krishna assures, I will relieve you from all your sins. You don't have to worry. Don't worry. Krishna is assuring. So if you take shelter of Krishna, you don't have to worry about any other. And so the thing is, we don't take shelter of Krishna. You can also take shelter of Krishna like that, okay? But that is not exactly a pure devotee. But one way or the other, if you take shelter of Krishna, it's good for you. And if you take shelter of Krishna, eventually you will come to the standard of pure devotee. So, in short, the answer to your question is, if somebody is very fearful that he may be punished from Yamaraj, what should he do? He should take shelter of Krishna.
Mm-hmm. And also, I have another question. It's not like in this topic. It's about Jagannath.
Okay, then please wait. I will go in order. We'll take Kalpesh Prabhu, Achyut Priya Mataji, then I'll come to you. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Yes, Prabhuji, Kalpesh Prabhu.
Yeah, Mataji, somebody asked me a question any god, the god, right? The incarnation of the god, they are Trikal Jnana, right? So, and it is based on Bhagavatam that one who is God, who he can know past, present, and future.
Yes.
That is called Trikal Jnana. So,
Trikalagya.
yeah. So, in that, the one who knows the past and present and future. So, somebody asked me, like, then what is, then we have a free will. And if we exercise, then what is, if future is something known to Lord, then what is free? So I gave some answer. I was convinced with my answer. Because I
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah, this question it comes up all the time. So, yeah, what is the question of free will if it is already known? He knows future, that means he knows what is happening. Then what is the question of free will? You still have a free will. You still have a free will. It's not that it is decided by the Lord that should only happen. It is not decided. He is not deciding that should happen. Why he knows everything? This is his greatness that he knows everything. But this does not mean that he has. You can do otherwise also. You have that free will. You don't have to do the same thing. You understand? But he knows everything because he is Sarvagya. He knows everything. This is his greatness. But this does not mean that he has taken away your free will. You can still not do. You have that free will. But he knows what you're going to do exactly. He knows you so well. I mean, generally, I give this example. This may be like a, not exactly, it's not exact, but just to make us understand, I'm giving this example, how thoroughly the Lord knows everything. That's what I'm saying. Just like there's a child, and if he's given an option of you want to eat this or you want to eat that. Okay, there's pizza and there's also rice, dal, and sabji. You put both in front of the child, and the mother knows what the child will eat. But does that mean the child does not have a choice? He still has a choice. He can either pick pizza or he can pick rice. But the mother knows the child so well, she'll know exactly what he's going to pick. This does not mean that she has taken away his free will now. Because she knows what he's going to do, that means he has no free will. Are you able to understand that example?
yeah, but I was thinking like if somebody is desiring whether to serve a Lord and not to serve a Lord, that was that is what the philosophy is, right? To serve the Lord, or if you are seeking for liberation, then Lord would know in the future that you will get liberated. That
He
is
knows.
what.
Yeah, he knows everything. He knows whether you get liberated, when you'll get liberated, he will know. But at the same time, your freedom is not taken away. Your freedom is not taken away. His knowing does not mean, this is what you have to understand. His knowing does not mean that you are restricted. Your free will is not restricted. You still have the free will, what you want to do. Still, he knows what exactly you will choose and what exactly you will do. That is his omniscience, all-knowing power. That has nothing to do with restricting your free will. We are not puppets. We are not, unconscious beings that somebody picks us up from here and puts us somewhere else. And then somebody is making us do this way, that way. He's making us surrender and he's making us not surrender. No. We make our choices. What we are experiencing today, whatever we are choosing, that is based on our choices in life. And as far as whether you want to surrender to Bhagavan or go towards liberation through jnana, that depends on the association you get. Who decides what type of association you get? Of course, association comes from the other side. The sadhu gives the association. But also, why you only get attracted to this sadhu? Why not to that sadhu? Again, you have some, from your, you have that free will to choose. But still, you choose that, right? If you get both the options, you choose this over that. And sometimes you don't even get an option. The first person, the sadhu that you meet, then you surrender to that sadhu. And even then, after that also you can change. There are so many examples. Then first you met a jnani, you started following the jnana path, and then later on you met a devotee, and then because it is higher. So then you went to the higher level. It's not like you have to follow this eternally. It all depends on the association and also the mercy given by that sadhu, what you will take. So as far as your question about free will, your free will is never touched by the Lord. You still have your free will, but still He knows everything. That tells you how great He is. He does not restrict you. You can always choose. You can do the other way or whichever way, but He knows exactly what you will do. This is just the quality of His omniscience, all knowing quality, like that. Yeah. Achut Priya Mataji. You are unmute, Mataji, but I'm not hearing you.
Yes. Krishna. Mataji, regarding the morning class, you were saying about the purification and how we do, like when we're traveling and everything, right, Mataji? Um, so that remembered me, my olden days in parents' house. No, like, like actually we were brought up in such a orthodox way, like, no, my no, grandmother, when she used to do the puja in between, if we by mistake if we touch her, she used to go and take a bath, like that it was. So that time we never understood. Now I'm understanding, see how purity they were maintaining at those ages, and now it's I'm feeling happy that I'm learning that now. Yes, Mataji, like when we are doing the services, when we do cook boga, and in between we do other things, so which we cannot take bath frequently. So in that case, can we use that Pavitra, this one, and
Well, if you're going for number one, yeah, then you come
no,
in
not
Acha.
not we Mataji. Like when I'm like suppose we like in the example, like when I'm cooking, in between I have to do some laundry with soiled clothes. I have to touch, right?
No,
So
no, you cannot do. That's why you have to plan in such a way that you do those things before you take bath, or after you do that, then you take bath.
yes. So I usually do after boga, but once we do that, we have to again have
Take
bath,
bath.
right, Mataji?
If you're cooking for the Lord, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Mataji.
Like, but if we are not cooking also, no,
Yeah,
if we are
I mean, you have to keep yourself clean all the time. I mean, that's the thing.
Mm.
So generally, I mean, we still have to live. We have to do these activities. So plan it in such a way that you do it before you take bath, best. Or you do it at such a time like evening or sometime after you do that, and then you take your bath, like that. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Mataji. Hare
Yeah.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Nice class, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Dhanush. Hare Krishna.
Okay, so you see, I've heard the story that Jagannath likes to do some kind of bargaining with his devotees, like if you do this, I will give you this. Like there was a story where this lady, she really wanted to have a child, and then she went to Jagannath and she said that if you give me a child, then I will name him after you and I'll take him like he was you. And then the lady got worried because nothing happened, and then later she did have a child and she did as she promised.
Okay.
So you see, I have to take these medications and they're really annoying. So I'm planning to go to India, and I am going to India. I'm gonna go to Jagannath Puri. I'm gonna go and see Jagannath. And I'm thinking like I'll go in front of him and I'll say, if you remove all my annoying medications, I will become a pure devotee and I will surrender to you. Do you
Wow.
think it will work?
How can I say? I mean, if you want to know what is pure devotional service, if that's what you're asking me, pure devotional service means unconditional. Anyabhilashita. That means you don't set any conditions. You don't want anything else in return for serving Krishna. You serve Krishna simply to please Krishna. That is pure devotional service. But I am not a pure devotee yet. Somehow I want to connect with Krishna one way or the other. So, Chaturvidha bhajante mam jana sukritin Arjuna arto jigyasir arthati. Right? So, 4 types of people come to me, Krishna says. Somebody who is in distress, they come to the Lord saying that please relieve me of this distress. Like that. And Krishna says, yeah, they are also good. He appreciates that. But that does not mean that when we go to Krishna to become free from some suffering or because we want something, that's why we go to Krishna. That is not exactly pure devotional service. But if you are saying, Krishna, please take away this and all these annoying medicines, then I will become your pure devotional service. So you are actually getting into an agreement with Krishna. You're saying you will become a pure devotee. That means you have to give
Yeah,
up your word. Yeah, try it. Why not? Go to
and
Krishna.
I've heard a lot more stories where a Muslim family, they have a daughter and she cannot see at all. So then they go to Jagannath and they say that if you relieve her eyesight, they will give Jagannath a small mirror. So the girl's eyesight came back, and then the grandma went and she gave Jagannath a little tiny mirror.
Wow. Yeah.
But I don't know if it'll work.
So now this is another problem. You're saying, I don't know if it will work. That means you're doubting. That's another problem.
Because, like, there's a lot of devotees that tell Jagannath they want this and they want that, they want this to be gone. I don't know if he'll be like, it's kind of like a police department. Lots of cases coming in. You have to wait a very long time for your case to go on.
Not like
I do
that.
not I do not know how long mine will go on.
Well, it's not like that. Krishna, he's there in everyone's heart. It's not like he'll see your case only. That may be the case for material people in material bodies. Yes, there is a long line and he cannot do all at the same time. Krishna can respond to you right away. But I would say, because we want to aspire for pure devotional service. So let's try to do pure devotional service. And if it's annoying, you can say, my Lord, it is annoying. But don't put it as a condition in front of the Lord. You take this away. You can say, this is very annoying to me. Krishna, please help me. Yeah, you can say that. You can say that. Not that if you do this, then I will become. No, not like that, not setting a condition, but you pray to Krishna that this is really bothering me, I don't know what to do, Krishna, please help me, like that. I want to
Okay.
be a pure devotee, but this thing is an obstacle, it's really annoying, I don't know, please help me. Yeah, you can pray, that's okay, that's not a problem.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Achintadev Prabhu.
Mataji, I just had a thought around this question.
Mm.
So, is it okay to think in such a way that I should be thankful to Krishna's mercy that at least I have this medicine, and even though it does not taste proper, but at least it gives me the strength to stay on and aspire to serve him more?
Yes, absolutely. He left already. Dhanush is not here, but yeah, I wish he had heard it. Maybe in tomorrow's class I'll repeat it for him. Yes, Prabhuji. Certainly that's a higher level of consciousness. Gratitude, right? Gratitude is essential. Appreciating the things that we have, uh, instead of, so it's just like, they say, you look at a glass that is half filled with water, it's your perception. Somebody sees it as half empty, another person sees it as half full. Oh, there's half of the glass has water in it, and another person says half of it is empty. So it depends where you want to focus your attention, on the things that are annoying and the things that are bad, or you want to be grateful for the things which are actually that you can be grateful for, right? How the Lord's blessing is coming in so many ways. So anyone who's able to have that gratitude, he's actually progressing in bhakti very nicely. So we can stop there. Thank you all. Hare Krishna. I'll see you tomorrow. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.